Kansas legislature holding a hearing this morning on Senate Bill 415. This bill would create the crime of organized retail theft and increase the penalties. 12 News reporter Rachel Howland breaks down the proposed bill in a story that's new at 9.
And oddly, Kansas remains in the top 10 states in terms of dollar value.
That reaction from Attorney General Chris Kobach after Tuesday's testimony before the Kansas Senate Committee regarding Senate Bill 415. If passed, it would create harsher penalties for organized retail crime. Kobach says this is a pressing matter, with organized retail crime numbers reaching $41 billion since 2022.
Organized retail crime involves stealing large quantities of expensive items and then selling them for resale, and typically sold on the web.
This would also increase criminal penalties and include these crimes under the definition of racketeering.
We want to be able to include all of the offenses, again, so that we can deter this type of crime, which is continuing to grow.
Kobach and Vice President of Government Affairs for the Kansas Chamber, Eric Stafford, emphasized this is a prevalent issue, especially with the use of technology.
It's happening. It's easy to happen. It's easy to happen with technology, but they're taking advantage of individuals to make this happen.
But those opposing the bill say the language needs to be tailored, adding, as it stands, the bill will target vulnerable people and not ringleaders in organized crime.
It makes me wonder if continuing to create more serious crimes and special rules, if it's really solving our problem, or is it that we're maybe not going to be able to charge and prosecute and incarcerate our way out of these problems that are deeply rooted.
In Kansas, Rachel Howland, 12 News.